All right, so we're going to start looking at what your textbook teaches in chapter 8. The prior video that I just did kind of gave you an overview of the formulas, as well as the working out percentages and trade discounts and how it all relates to chapter 8, which is that we purchased whatever item it is that's in our inventory at a certain cost, and now we want to be able to mark them up so that way we can make money on them. And so in your book, there's first what's really just an initial markup formula. It's really the portion formula in a sense, but it is, or the selling price formula in a sense, but it's selling price always equals your cost plus your markup, right? That's what you're going to sell it for, as mentioned in this little formula right here. Or you want to know your markup amount, it's always going to be, well, the selling price minus the cost. So if I'm selling it for 200 and I cost 100, my markup was 100. That's pretty simple, as represented in the second formula. And then the third one, which all these will be explained in the circle formula in a minute, the cost equals the selling price minus the markup. So what did it cost me? Well, I can take the selling price, I can minus how much the markup is, and that's going to give me my cost. And the one thing that's not in any of these formulas is how do I find the percentage amount? And that's what we're going to be figuring out with what we call the cost plus one formula. But just as a starter, if you look down here, Momentum's gift shop pays $8 for a picture frame. If the markup is $6.50 is added, what was the selling price? Of course, that's pretty easy. $8 plus $6.50 equals the selling price. I'm not going to do the math, but you guys get the picture, right? So again, when we're doing word problems, you're always trying to find out what is the thing we're trying to solve. In this case, we were trying to find the selling price, and it gave us the two other factors. It gave us the cost, and it gave us the markup. So I know 650 plus 8 is what, 1450, I think, is the selling price. So that would have been the selling price. And then we could do the same thing on the next problem. Reliable Office Supplies buys printing calculators from Taiwan for $22.50. If they are sold for $49.95, what is the amount of the markup? Well, obviously, what they're trying to find is the markup amount. And so we want to take, sorry about this little scribble here, just ignore that, $39.95. So I'm just trying to get him, minus $22.50, and that's going to give me my markup amount. And you guys are welcome to do the math for me. That way I don't have to keep doing it. So whatever that comes out to, that's the markup amount. So we haven't figured out the percentage of markup. We've only figured out the markup amount. You guys with me? All right.
Yes, Professor.
Then the next question is, Safeway Supermarket sells corn crunchies for $3.29 a box. And again, trying to find out how much did the store pay for them. So again, we're trying to find now cost. So if we look at the formula at the top, the cost is selling price. So the selling price was $3.29. And the markup on the item was $2.12. So we're going to add those two together because there's the cost is what I paid for it, then the markup amount, what I added to it. So it's going to come out to, what is it? Something like
541.
541. $5.41 is my cost. Or my, yeah. Wait, hold on a second. I'm selling them for $3.29. If the markup, sorry, I did it the opposite way. This is a minus. My bad. I paid $3.29 and I marked them up. Excuse me, I'm selling them for $3.29 and I marked them up to $12. So how much did I get them for? It'd be a subtraction. Sorry.
$117.
I bought them for $1.17 each. There you go. Sorry about that. That was my cost. Sorry to confuse you. All right. So again, percent. So now I want to find the percent difference. And that's what we start getting into in the next section, which is, I think, 8-2 of your book. And that's percent markups based on cost. So what is the rate between the two? Now, this is true of any percentage we're trying to find, is we need to find out the portion, and then once we have the portion, we need to divide that by the costs. So in this case, looking at the next question, Blanco Industries produces stainless steel sinks at a cost of $56. If the sinks are sold to distributors for $89.60, what are the amounts of the markup and the percent of markup based on cost? And so first thing I would want to do here is I showed you this a little bit ago, is if I want to try and find the portions and I want to use the portion formula, I already know that they were $56. and I don't know what the rate is. That's what I'm trying to find, the rate. And I don't know what the portion is, but of course, if I take the 89.60 and I minus the $56, that's going to give me my markup amount, right?
33.6.
How much?
33.6.
Okay, so $33.06 was my markup amount, and or we could also call it my portion. And so I just need to divide 33.60 by 56, and that's going to give me my percent of markup.
60%.
So it's a 60% markup. Okay, you with me on that? All right, I'm gonna, I don't know if I can, hold on a second. I wonder why it's not letting me. I think I opened this the wrong way, so, because I opened it differently. Okay, it did, I dropped it the other way, but I'm gonna come back to that. So here, hold on a second. Oh, not where I wanted it to go, sorry. I want to share it to this app. It's really weird how I have to do all this. I apologize. All right, so we saw that it was a 60% markup. However, I could also have used the cost plus one formula, which again, the original cost was $56. I can do 1 plus 60, and that would give me my selling price. Again, I'm putting the $56 into the answer. So in this case, my selling price was $89.60. So if I wanted to find the rate, I would divide these two together and then minus it from 1. And that would give me my answer, the opposite of the 1 plus. So if I took 89.60 minus, divided it by 56, and then I got my answer, I would minus it from 1, and it would give me my rate, which would have been 60% again. Does that make sense? Again, because I'm adding the 1 in, I got to take the 1 out. And so that's why after I get my answer, I minus the 1. All right, if that's confusing to you, it'll get more clear here with the next page. So let's move on to the next page. Let's see, we need to go here, here, not there, there. All right, so that was page 1. All right, so here's again another way of looking at it. You guys are seeing all this. All right, so there's the same question. This time I used the cost plus one formula. So if it's ever says markup based on cost and you have the selling price, you can use this formula to solve it, and it's 1 plus the rate. So again, if it says markup based on cost and they're looking for the selling price, they're looking for the cost, or they're looking for the rate, you would use this formula right here. So we'll apply that looking down at section 8-3. Which is calculating the selling price when cost and percent markup are based on cost are known. So again, a wallet costs $50. So again, the cost or base is here. We also call that 100%. So we're going to do $50. That's the cost. And the manufacturer wants a 70% markup. So what should the selling price of the wallet be? So we're trying to find this factor right here. Selling price. We know the rate, we know the costs, we just don't know the we don't know the selling price, and we don't know the markup amount. So 2 ways to do this one. You could just use the portion formula. It's very similar. Just multiply the 50 times the 70. And that would be, Bravo. Okay, I'll do it here real quick. Sorry, I don't have my calculator. 50 times 0.70. You guys see my screen, by the way? Just want to make sure.
Professor, shouldn't it be 1 plus 0.7?
Well, yeah, no, I'm just doing it as the portion formula first.
Okay.
So basically, if you add, so now I know my portion or my markup amount is 35. I can just add those, so it comes out to 85, right? You guys with me? Or if I use this formula, I didn't use this formula here. I used the one on the other page, the portion formula. I could do the same thing, 50 times 1.70. So then I'm adding the 50 in by adding the 1. That would come out to 85 for my selling price. I'm just doing it both ways. So I'm showing you can use the portion formula to solve a lot of these, but you have to find out the portion amount first. And just a lot easier to do it that way that I just showed you. So, all right, going to the next question. Superior Appliance buys toasters for $38, and they're going to have a plus a 65% markup based on cost. So again, that's the phrase you're looking for. Based on cost means that you can use this formula here. Should have went like this. So they're asking you, what would the selling price be for the toaster? Again, these are problems right out of your book. So again, if I just did the formula, I'm going to put the cost, which is $38. I'm going to multiply by 1.65 because I'm going to add my 38 back in. And what is that?
62.70.
So $62.07 is the new
No, $62.70.
70 cents. Okay, thank you. That's now the selling price. So again, I just used that formula to solve the problem. Again, I like the formula because I mean, obviously you could have just wrote out 38 times 0.165 equals selling price. You could have ultimately used the old formula, but this, I want you to get used to using the circle because it becomes very handy when you start calculating it based on selling price, which is different. All right, so let me go to the next screen. Oops, sorry. By the way, I have to upload each of these individually in order to get them on here to be able to work them out. So I apologize that there's a few steps here, but we come to the next screen. So again, markup based on cost. So we're still using the same formula, call it the cost plus one. So 8-4 says, well, calculating cost when the selling price and percent markup are based on cost are known. So again, American Eagle sells a blouse. That's their selling price. If a 50% markup is based on cost, use what is the cost of the blouse. So in this case, again, because it says based on cost, this is the cost plus one, using cost as a base. So we're going to use that formula. And in this case, the two factors I have is it's based on selling price. So it's $66 is the selling price. What I'm trying to find is the cost. And in this case, it's a 50% markup. Right? But again, what's the formula say? 1 plus 50. So it would be 1, that would be what I divide the 66 by. So you want to do the math on that? 66 divide. By the way, this line here.
$44.
How much?
$44 is the cost.
44? So $44 would be your answer. So what it's answering is American Eagle sells the blouse for 66. If a 50% markup based on cost is used, what was the cost of the blouse? She bought the blouse for $44 and she got a 50% increase on the 44, which came up. Now you can always double check it to make sure you got it right, but you can multiply the 44 by 0.50 or 1.50 and see if it comes out to 66, and then you'd know your answer is correct. Does that make sense? So you can go back and you can do the math in any direction, and if it all comes out the same, then you know you've answered it correctly. All right, next one. General Electric sells automatic coffee makers to distributors for $39. If a 30% markup based on cost is used, how much did it cost? So again, we're using this formula, same formula. We're starting with the selling price. So $39 was the selling price. We're trying to find the cost. 1 plus 0.30 is what I would divide it by, because again, we're using this formula. So the rate was 30%. They wanted a 30% markup based on cost.
$30.
So they bought it for $30. That was their cost. All right, so what we're trying to determine here is, again, markup. How much was the markup? How much the markup percentage? How much was the markup amount? How much was the cost? How much was the selling price? And those are all very relevant to when you're doing business with purchasing retail items or selling retail items. All right, let me go to one more here. Sorry. I think I have one more page on this one, maybe not. Let's see, I think it's this one here. Yeah, this is my last one. Oh no, that's selling price. Come on. Yeah, I think that was it. Oh no, it's right here. Sorry. This one didn't want to open for some reason. So. All right, last one here. Actually, I'm going to do a new video for this one. So that's it for the first section of, first section of this textbook. So we're going to end that recording.